Not my sons.
Not my daughter.
Not our family. Not our church.
Hey, and welcome to Sunbrook Takeaway. I'm Tanner Treffin, joined by Pastor Joey Rumble and his daughter on the wall, my wife, Mary Elizabeth Treffin. So great to have you on.
Oh, thank you. It's an honor.
Yeah, good to have you.
I feel pretty famous joining the podcast.
And we're breaking down you guys' message from this past Sunday, Daughters on the Wall. So thanks so much for sharing.
Yeah, the title came from Mary. She wanted to say, hey, why don't we call it Daughters on the Wall?
It's such a cool part of Scripture, though. I love just when we read that in Nehemiah that this man is out there with his daughters and they're building and they're part of it. And it's awesome.
Oh, yeah. Love it.
Hit that.
Yeah, it seemed like you got a great response from what you shared. That a lot of people really appreciated it, and just that was pretty cool. The passion you had for our family, I appreciate that. I know my dad did too, so thank you.
Well, I feel like if there's anything you're going to get fired up about, your kids are definitely worth it. So.
Yeah, actually, your dad said, Mark Treffin said, yeah, Joey, when you said, that's my daughter, he goes, yeah, I was saying at the same time, that's my daughter-in-law. That was exciting.
Yeah.
That's sweet of you guys.
Cool. I love what you shared, Joey, about how your mom, when your dad checked out in your family, it would have been real easy for your mom just to throw in the towel and check out too, but she didn't check out, she checked in, and I feel like that's such a big thing for, so many single moms out there and people struggling just to, when the going gets hard, don't check out, but check in all the more.
Yeah, it's huge. And I went biking with her that day on Mother's Day, and I took her the e-bike.
Yeah,
so we were talking about the message and all because she was watching. So
she watched.
Oh yeah,
What did
she
say?
watches almost every Sunday.
Nana.
Yeah, it was good.
That's so sweet.
So it was cool.
Did she say you're her favorite son after
No,
you shouted her out like
no,
that?
no.
A big point that resonated with a lot of people was working together as a family. And with Serve Day coming up, what a great opportunity to jump in and serve as a family. And there's a bunch of you already signed up, so great job there.
Yeah. Super pumped about Serve Day and making a difference for the Lord and serving side by side with families. It's cool. Family of God, building the kingdom in the community.
And we're bringing the Kids Fest back this year, so that'll be really exciting too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe even 2 spots. We'll see.
What?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I love how you talked about we only got one shot at this, that you only got one opportunity with your kids in your house, or you never know if someone's going to move in the church, while you're discipling them or something. So you got this one lifetime, and so just use it to really invest in those people and disciple them well.
Yeah, and it has a lot to do with dividing the work up and what you do well to build the kingdom of God, and making sure that your kids are alongside you building the kingdom. And I use that illustration of how quick it happens with the American Girl place. Because Mary, within months, I can't remember how long after that you just weren't interested in American Girl dolls anymore. Do you remember?
I don't, but I remember loving them as a kid. And actually, it's funny you say that. We're slowly introducing Gal, our daughter, to them. So, yeah, she's not quite aware yet. She's not 2, but.
So do you remember anything about that trip? Like that trip to American Girl Place in Chicago?
So, really, this is going to sound silly. I remember we did that magazine cover where they would take a picture and you were a part of the magazine, and then we did tea time.
Yeah.
That was cool. And I thought it was really neat because they had little carriers for your doll in the bathroom. I don't know. They went all out at the American Girl Place. And I remember Brad wasn't a huge fan of tea time. But he endured through it, being the only boy.
And I took him to the ESPN zone, so yeah.
He got over it. But it was sweet. The memories I have are fun. Yeah.
Cool.
And pizza. We got good pizza.
Oh, that's right. Was it Gennaro's or something?
I think it was Giordano's.
Giordano's deep dish pizza. Oh, that was amazing.
It was so much cheese.
Not good heated back up, though.
No.
That's one you just leave there. If you don't eat it all, just leave it at the restaurant.
Oh, it was so good, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joey said that you guys were the cutest girls in the world on that trip, and we actually found the picture. And so here's the picture.
Yeah.
You guys look really good.
Those are my perm days.
And man, you are super cute in that picture, I gotta say. But our daughter's got to run for your money. I don't know, we'll see. But you definitely.
Well, you're her dad, so you can think that.
But
It's funny you said that though. That we just have the one time to do it, because I think sometimes as moms, we have a hard time feeling like so much pressure all the time that we only get one shot. I have to go, I have to go, I have to go. And I think there's also grace too, that,
Yes.
we need the impetus to move. You get one lifetime, but also the grace to keep going and know,
Yes.
hey, tomorrow's a new day. Because I think it's really easy for me as a mom sometimes when I miss it. Tanner, you can vouch for this. I'll be at the end of the day and I'll be thinking about things. And I could have done so many things right, but I'm just rehearsing. If I'm not in a good spot, I can start thinking back over the day and, oh man, I missed that there, or oh, I should have interacted different here. And so I think sometimes it's important to lean in too, to just that recognition that as moms and parents and just in life, that verse in the Bible, the righteous man falls 7 times, but he gets back up again. And the grace that as Christians we know there's a new day tomorrow, and the Holy Spirit's with us. Jesus has forgiven us. Our sins are washed away, and we get to try again. And so I think that's really important too, that we have one time, but if they dropped a brick while they were building, they weren't like, the project's over.
Yeah.
We can't keep going.
That's
but
right.
that, you can jump back in and start, keep going.
Yeah, that's huge. And you had shared not that line about not my sons, not my daughter, not my family. Anything else in there that really resonates with you as a mom and just really, not my family. We're going to serve the Lord. Or
Oh, I feel like there's so many things that are so important, and I think there's not enough podcasts in the world that could cover everything as a mom that is a big deal. I honestly just barely, I feel like, scratched the surface yesterday of just mentioning a couple areas. But honestly, I think knowing as a mom why you believe what you believe is a really big thing, because as your kids start to have questions, you need to have some answers. I'm not saying you need to have every answer, but you need to have at least some of them, and then to be not so busy that you can't go and start looking them up with them. I think something that really helps is, as you maybe don't have time to know the theological issues with every single cult or different church out there, understanding why do I believe what I believe, and then knowing good resources that you can go to and helping equip your kids that way. I think that's a really strong thing for moms. And then something actually you guys did growing up, you modeled for Amy and Brad and I what a real relationship with God looks like. That what I was just saying of, you may have had a hard day the day before, but you get back up again and you keep going. And you would wake up and read your Bible in the morning, and different, as you've talked about this, but sometimes you were in the cozy chair, or you had different places in the house. And Mom, as she would read her Bible as well, and we talked about soap journaling. I remember being in 6th grade, and you gave me a soap journal, and we got started there. And here we are decades later, and I have a shelf almost filled with soap journals. And so I guess all I'm trying to say is, I think the biggest thing is, as moms, it starts with you first, that you need to have a relationship with God, know why you believe what you believe, and lean in. So being present with your kids, because each of those examples I shared actually with the book and with the gentleman at the door, I mean, I had to be there. I had to be aware, and then you need to kind of do some follow up with the kids if they're at that age. So.
Yeah, no, that's really good. That's so right on. I had a great conversation with a lady in our church, Kathy Swaim, who all her kids are grown and older now, but she was sharing, and I even wrote it down. She felt like you regret more what you didn't do than what you did. Like, she was really striving about making sure as a parent that you seize that moment. And like you said, it's not like it's that one thing, but making sure you really lean in to do this. That tends to be where a lot of the regrets are, what you didn't do. And so making sure that you lean in more to that. And I remember I told Kathy, I'll give you a shout out, because I'm going to mention that tomorrow, because I really felt it resonated.
I've heard that said, go on the trip. Like, you take the trip, you do it, and sometimes it's easy. I know for us with our 4 kids, we think about trying to do something and all of the the aspects of pulling it off. And a lot of times we're like, but where will they sleep? and what will they do? And it can get overwhelming. But you said that. You were like, so glad we took that trip to Chicago.
Yeah.
And you could have easily been like, well, Jenny, maybe we could go another time. Let's push that off till next year. And it just wouldn't have.
Yeah. No. And then you moved out of that stage. But what I used as an illustration as a dad years ago when I was preaching when my kids were in the house, when y'all were in the house, it's like this, dads. In the summer, you don't sit at the edge of the pool when your kids are in the pool. You go in and swim with them. That was kind of what I said. Don't be sitting while they're all playing in the pool. You go in the pool with them and play. So that's that regret of, man, I wish, that Kathy was pointing out what you didn't do. So swim in the pool with your kids.
Well, you sure did that. You got dunked a lot. We would triple team him, actually.
And yet the headlock that you would put me on in the pool, wow. I still remember putting the headlock on my brother Dave. And so you've passed that down to your boys. My goodness. Wow.
That's so funny.
They come back in nightmares sometimes. But I was thinking, it was real cool how Shalom, he has his daughters up on the wall. I was thinking, I wonder if his daughters are like, Dad, like, we want to be up on the wall too, and they like fought for that, or his dad's like, no, you need to be up here with me. But I was wondering, your guys' relationship, when it talks about working together as a family for the kingdom of God, was it more like Pastor Joey being like, hey, Mary, you got to come serve with me and be a part of it? Or was it Mary like, oh, Dad, I want to come with you? Or how did it go?
It was both, but she was definitely, she was helping when we planted the church in Charlotte. She was helping set everything up, and she was leading worship for the kids ministry in like sixth grade maybe. I mean, and making the kids ministry run. And Amy, I have a picture of her at a free car wash we did as we're reaching people. And man, she's like, was she like first grade, second grade? And all those memories of, it was both. All of our kids wanted to come as they got to be teenagers, not as much, so you'd have to pull them more. But in the younger years, I remember Mary, Amy, and Brad were all in.
And I think it looked different for each of us. I don't feel like there were times we were all doing the same thing, but I do think you tried to figure out what we enjoyed and lean in that area. I wanted to do praise and worship in kids ministry. It's not like you said, hey, you have to go help out in kids ministry. I was excited about that.
Yeah.
And I remember you made me feel like my opinion mattered. Like you let me help name some of the environments when we were younger. And then each of us, it just looked different. We had different gifts and different things we were interested in. So I
still remember we were in a restaurant. We were having one of the Carolina Panthers come speak at our church, Mike Minner. And Brad grabbed the invite of a Mike Minner card. And we were in a restaurant, and we had a neighbor that was at that restaurant. And Brad went out and got him, handed him the Mike Minner, invited him to the event we had. And that gentleman ended up giving his heart to the Lord. And leaning in and having those opportunities, watching what God does, it's fun. It's a lot of hard work, but it's so rewarding. So, yeah, and Jenny, I feel like, was so good about together. She was like just helping discover where they were passionate and helping lean into those areas. You're right on about that.
I don't think any of us ever loved like cleaning the chairs. I remember we had to do that after vacation once. But so there was definitely the side where like we had to do some things.
Planting those 50 trees in the front yard.
Oh, yeah. But didn't you pay us for that?
I might have.
I feel like you paid us for that. But it was a mix. I agree. There's definitely a lot of like, we want to do it. And then plenty of what you said. When every vacation we went on, none of us wanted to go. And you made us, and then we loved it.
So Nehemiah 4, do you have a mind to work, fight for your families, and use both hands to build and protect? Those are really those areas that I really feel like we got to continue to have that mind to work, fight for our families, that we use both hands to build and protect. Any thoughts there, Mary or Tanner, on that?
I just appreciate how I used to get lost in your purse, but now you've really minimized it. And so if we already get robbed, it could be a guy or a girl at this point, who knows. But that's just a joke. But I really do feel like you fight with both hands. Like you pour into our kids, you build the relationships, you do the bricks, you're trying to be a better homemaker, make the meals and all this stuff. You take great care of us, but then also you're a mom who prays for us, and you're a mom who reads her Bible and studies the Word, and you really fight with the brick and with the sword, and so I just think that's awesome.
Well, it's funny, we were talking yesterday. I feel like you lead the way for that in our family. And so there's this really beautiful headship. I feel like Tanner kind of blazes the trail, and I get to, as the mom, go alongside with you. And it's not you dragging me or me pulling you, but you, I feel like, really do lead the way in that, the building and protecting. Because I feel like I shared some stuff yesterday that is definitely controversial and not always easy to talk about, but the truth is, he has already led the way in that, and then you, Dad, as our pastor, and my dad, you have led the way also. So I think it's not every mom gets that, but when you do have it, man, what a gift to have you guys on the wall with us. So it's really cool.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. I think also when you talk about daughters on the wall, like Jeanette was really a spiritual mom to me all these years serving alongside in the kingdom. And Jeanette, did the moment this week and shared a poem, and it was powerful that was passed down to her. And so I just, everyone investing into the next generation is massive. We can never, and I know some people are more passionate about teenagers and kids than others. I get that. But everyone needs to pass their faith down to the next generation, because that is what creates longevity. That's what discipleship's all about.
Well, is it in Timothy or Titus where it talks about the older moms discipling the younger ones? And I think that's a big part of that too. I mean, looking at her, she has poured into me so much. And I remember when we had our first baby, she was giving me a book that had questions that young moms have that was actually really impactful from Dana Gresh, I think. But I think that's something, too. It's not just leaning into the teenagers and the kids. It's the young moms that are just getting ready to start, or the young dads that are just becoming a parent. So anyone younger than you are in a different season of life. You could be the young one to somebody.
54. They're still out there.
You're still young. You're still young.
What did Jenny say? Jenny and I are on the young side of old.
Yes.
We're on the young side of old.
So you just find some of the older olds, and they can pour it into you.
That's great. Yeah. Awesome. Well, you guys want to share your takeaway from the message?
Yeah, I'm going to teach on this more this week in Nehemiah, staying on the wall. I'm just reflecting more on building and protecting and what that looks like, because sometimes they kind of blend together. But I think there's a lot to it, because in Nehemiah, which we'll break down this week, there's a lot more about building and protecting. And I think it's a clear spiritual example, leaning into the promises of God for our family and the church, that we teach people how to build and protect. I think it's a 50-50%. So I think I'm just going to reflect on it more and share in my message this week. So this is more of a reflection takeaway that's going to flesh itself out more this week.
Cool. Yeah, for me, I was thinking about working together as a family, and I really appreciate us doing those videos together. I'm like, man, we need to do more videos together. Well, here we are. So that's cool. Before we even knew we were doing the takeaway together. So.
I think for me, I actually shared it, that when that situation presented itself with the gentlemen who are Jehovah's Witnesses, I didn't feel ready. And it's funny, Tanner and I were talking yesterday, and I was like, well, I think I'm ready now, because we had a conversation afterward. He said, well, what about, and he shot me like 5 or 6 Bible verses that somebody who is a Jehovah's Witness would use, because he's had some of these conversations. And I was like, well, John 1:1. And he was like, yeah, but what about 1 Corinthians, da-da-da-da? And I was like, oh. So that might be my thing, is just kind of digging in a little bit more in that area specifically, because that's what has presented itself to our door. So.
Cool. Awesome, church. Let's build our house on the rock. Be the blessed man or woman who does that. And so let's walk in our takeaway together. Thanks so much for listening, and God bless you guys.